What I really want to talk about today is something that I mentioned in my last video. What's up, YouTube family? Gerald Greenlee here with Clean and Green Lawn Service in. I got to pause because my son-in-law told me, he said, I'm always trying to guess what you're going to say. Is it rainy South Georgia, beautiful South Georgia, sunny South Georgia, cold South Georgia? Well, this morning it's, I guess, overcast South Georgia. But it's still beautiful because I'm not working today. Elro and Z-Man are out working. I think when 002 gets out of school, I think he's going to go catch up with them and help them. Whether he does or he doesn't really doesn't matter. They don't necessarily need him, but it's slowing down. And I told him if he wanted to make some hours, he could go work with them. Not the most efficient way to do it, but there again, you know, I try to help these guys. They help me, I try to help them. That's the way business should work, right? What I really want to talk about today is something that I mentioned in my last video. And this would really be better probably if I did it in the office and had my little whiteboard. But anyway, we're just going to do it. We're just going to do it going down the road. So here's the question: do you have a business or do you have a job? Now, if you have a business, you do have a job, right? I'm not talking about do you have a business and a job somewhere else. I'm talking about as a business owner. So, and let me say this up front. This is not a critique on anybody. If you have, you know, a name for a company and you have a license for that business and you're the owner of that business, then you're a business owner, okay? So if you're a guy out there and you're solo and you work by yourself and you don't ever have any help, and all the quotes, all the scheduling, all the work, the planning, all of that stuff falls on your shoulders, that's great. That's what you want to do. That is great. That is fantastic. But in that case, you are a business owner that has a job. In other words, what I'm saying is you created a business that created a job for you. And if that's the way you like to do it, that's great. Okay? And I'm talking about the manual side of the business, the getting out there, you know, the guy that's putting shingles on a roof if you're doing roofing, or the guy that's, you know, remodeling a bathroom if you're in handyman service or construction, or the guy that's out there on the weed eater and the edger and the backpack blower and the lawnmower. If you have a lawn care business. That's the house I was going to ride by. I didn't go down the road. I'll catch it on the way back. So it's not on the schedule till tomorrow. Got plenty of time. And I say that to say this. A lot of people go, you know, they think, man, I'm going to start me a business and then I don't have to work. Right? I can sit back and I can draw a check, right? And I can send people out to do all that work. Now, there's nothing wrong with that model. So, but there's these two different models. One is I'm a business owner, but that business just simply creates a job for me. Or I'm a business owner and that business creates work for other people and I make money off of other people working. Okay, so that's the distinction here. And again, there's not an issue with either one, man. Whatever your dream and whatever your vision is, you know, that's great. So I started out as just a business owner with a job, right? I had a job. This is my business created work for me. So when I started out and I had 1 or 2 accounts, I went and I serviced those properties myself. And then other people started calling, and next thing you know, it was 6 accounts, and mine grew very slow. I mean, because I don't advertise, I'm not out looking for work, I'm not putting hangers out in neighborhoods, I'm not doing any of that stuff because I already have more than what I can really do. As a business owner with a job in the business, even if you got a business with multiple locations and you got a person who manages that site for you, you still got a job because you got to take care of those managers. You got to make sure they got what they need. You got to tend to all that kind of stuff, right? So you're gonna always have some kind of job. Your job goes from, you know, cutting grass or putting on shingles or remodeling bathrooms to managing people and processes and things of that nature. So you'll always have a job. But if you want to get away from the manual labor side of it, though, you've got to have employees. And as you add employees, you know, you can expand the business and you can take on more. Like if I were just by myself right now, I would have probably, I probably only have 4 properties. If I were doing them by myself, I would limit myself to 4 properties. And that would probably be the bank, which is 3 properties, and keep that contract because it's a good one, and the college, because it's a good one, and then I might keep one other little doctor's office that I got, right? And that's all I would be able to do by myself, doing it on a part-time basis. Now, you got to remember, you're taking this is, I don't even know that I want to call this advice because I'm not a guy with a big business. I'm just a guy that knows the difference between having a business that only creates me a job or a business that creates jobs for other people, and I can benefit from that, right? Because I mean, if you got employees, you want to be making money off of them. You want to pay them well, you want to take care of them, but you also want to generate revenue for yourself off of their labor. If not, you know, they're just out there wearing out your equipment and you're not getting any benefit from it. So you know, you want to be in a situation where you're, you know, if you're paying a guy say $15 an hour or maybe 20, if that's what it costs the company, because what you pay the person, if you're doing it right, if you got workers' comp and you got all that, what you're paying the person, you can easily add probably another $5 for that, for the cost of the employee, right? Their Social Security taxes, their workers' comp, their the money you had to pay into the Department of Labor for unemployment, all of those sort of things. So so if let's say you're paying them 15, they making 20, and then it's costing you $20 an hour per person to run equipment, to maintain your mowers, to maintain your trucks, and to, you know, make your payments on them, whatever the case is, then they got to make $40 an hour per person for you to break even. And so if, you know, 3 guys go out and, you know, they work 8 hours and they generate $50 an hour, that really means all you made off of, you know, each one of those employees was $80 that day, you know, if you consider everything. And so, you know, you got 3 guys, so you made $240. The business made $240 for them going out doing the work. You didn't have to touch anything. So, you know, and if you're running like that, that'd be a minimum you'd want. You'd really want to be up more around the $60 an hour at least, and that would generate you, the business, $20 an hour. That means that, you know, each person make you a, what is that, $160 a day, you know, and then you multiply that by however many employees you got, you know, and that's what the business makes. So, and that's at a 60, which is really still on the low end, if you will. Now, why am I talking about all this? Because I'm at a junction in the business right now, and I've got about 2 months to figure out what I'm going to do. So, you know, I've been saying this in videos and been saying it. The truth is, I got too much work to do with the resources that I have available. So, what I have done is created a business that's created a job for me that's too big of a job. I simply have too much to do, okay? And I'm not going to do this again next season. I've already said that. I've already talked about dropping customers and going through and picking and choosing, or either consolidating my route down to one area. I don't know how I'm going to go about doing it, but I have to do that, or in the next 2 months, I have to find somebody that I'm confident is going to help me in the business. And look, this is not a knock against anybody that's currently working for me. I got a great crew, you know, Josh and some Wild Bill and some of them. You get on the videos and you talk about how good of a crew I got and how hard those guys work, and they really do, man. I am blessed. But the issue I have is the availability. If I had 2 guys that could work 2 days every week, and then these younger guys could help out with the other stuff. So if I had two guys that could work, say, all day Tuesday and Thursday, and then one of those guys wanted to work with 002 because he's off every Friday, wanted to work with them, they give us 3 full days of cutting, then we could manage what we've got without me having to go out there on those days and cut. The problem is I don't have that guy to go with Elrow, or I don't have that guy that I can just put in a truck and he can go out by himself and he can do all the edging, all the weed eating, all the trimming, you know, the blowing off, the cutting. He can do everything. If this customer's got, you know, a couple of hedges that need to be touched up, this guy can do it, right? So that's the dilemma that I have. And my intent, so I either have to do this. A is I have to figure out how can I expand or maintain this expansion without me involved in the everyday work of the business, or I need to scale back the business to a point. See, I never intended to have all of this. Never. I never set out to go, man, I'm gonna have, you know, 40, we're gonna do 40 properties or whatever it is that we got. It's probably at least 40. I've lost count of them. I know in the heat of the season, we're doing 30 properties a week, and you know, over half of our properties are bi-weekly. So, you know, if you're doing 30 this week, you do 30 next week, but 20 of those are not the same property. So that's probably, at one point, we were probably around 50 properties, or, you know, 45 to 50, somewhere in that neighborhood, individual properties. And it's more than I could do if I were doing it by myself full time. There's no way I could cut our schedule, which that's not what I'm out to do anyway, you know. So, now, there's pros to having people. There's also cons to it, right? You know, when you got people, they're out running your equipment. A lot of times people won't take care of your equipment maybe like you would take care of your equipment. Sometimes people won't do it, you know, won't do the job exactly the way you would do the job. And you know, you run into some of those kind of issues along the way. Those are things that you have to consider. Anytime you got employees, you got more liability, you got more risk. And especially if you hire full-time guys, man, you have this huge responsibility now of caring for this person and their family, right? If you hire somebody and your company is their livelihood, you better take that serious, right? And you really got to think that thing through and go, okay, in the off season, how am I going to provide for this person? Because look, you can, it don't matter how much you pay them for 32 weeks out of the year, you know, they got to eat, and they got to pay bills, and they got to pay rent and utilities, those other 20, you know, weeks out of the year. So, you know, how do you handle that? Anyway, I said all that to say this. There's a possibility that I found a guy that can help me, and it's going to be mutually beneficial to both of us. So he's in a situation where he needs some more income, and he has some flexibility, and he's interested in helping with lawn care. Now, hopefully today or tomorrow, we're going to sit down and have an official conversation and really talk about all the ins and outs and what that looks like. And I'm really hoping it works out, because this guy, just because I know he's a person of character and integrity, I know that, you know, he'd be the kind of guy I could count on, right? And I'll just go ahead and say this: he's another pastor, and you know, that I've gotten to know over the last couple of years, and you know, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. You know, if he were to tell me that, hey, I want to do this, I'm committed to this, I would take his word for it, and you know, I would keep the properties that we have, and work him into the schedule, because he would be a guy that can go out and do everything. I don't know how much about hedge trimming. I mean, again, we hadn't got into details, but there's no doubt he's a guy that could take a truck. I mean, he's about my age. He could take a truck and trailer, and he could go do what needed to be done, and I don't think I'd have to worry about it. And, you know, if he could give me a day and a half, maybe 2 days a week, to supplement what we already have, basically he'd kind of be taking my place. And then, you know, I can run interference, I can work when somebody's out, and because I'm still going to do something now, because I started doing this because I enjoy doing this. What I don't enjoy is the strain that it's created with lack of help, for good reasons, but for lack of help, the strain that is created between you know, making sure that properties are done, making sure ministry commitments are met, and you know, just trying to constantly juggle people around to get things done, you know. So anyway, we're gonna see. Look, I know this video is gonna be long, but I'm headed over here to a meeting. I'm gonna go to my meeting, and then I'll come back and I'll have some more thoughts by then. Maybe I can make it even longer, right? And then we'll get this thing wrapped up. Check back with y'all in a few. All right, I am out of my meeting, and I have another meeting set up. Yeah, I'm supposed to meet with a guy tomorrow at 8 o'clock. The one that might be interested in working with me some. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see how that goes. Like I said, we just talked about this in passing, you know, kind of after a meeting, and he said, yeah, man, might be something I'm interested in. And so, you know, I figured we'd get together and really talk about, you know, responsibilities, expectations, compensation, you know, all those sorts of things that would go into this. So we're gonna be meeting tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. So I'll have a follow-up video probably tomorrow or the next day on this particular opportunity, you know. And the reason I say either the next video will be about that or the one after, because if I happen to go out and do some work this afternoon on my own, if I have to go take care of that one bank because the guys get done too early, I may do a short video, you know, 35-40 minutes short on that. So anyway, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down because I know it's probably getting long anyway, and I'm gonna get to the house, back to the office, do something, man. I don't know what to do with all this time I got now, not having to run out and chase grass. So Anyway, I do appreciate you tuning in, and my prayer for you is always the same, that the Lord might richly bless you, and that you might see all of your blessings as from Him. Hope you have a